Hello, it's Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my Plan With Me video for May. I'm using a Rhodia Gold book which I keep inside this paisley etched cover from Start Bay Notebooks. I've been using this journal since December last year and I've now only got a few pages left. So I'll be setting up for May in a new journal. And I'll share a quick flip through with you at the end of my pages from April so far. I've been using Rhodia Gold books for my bullet journal for quite a long time now. I really like the paper quality as it stands up well to most things. And I also really enjoy the features right at the front of the notebook. You've got your header page where you can write your name and details, the contents page already there, and what I find particularly helpful is this undated calendar which I use as my future log. And behind that you've got your normal dotted pages. For my setup for May I decided to go for a vintage theme. I nearly always use this theme inside my traveller's notebook, but for some reason rarely do in my bullet journal. So I thought it'd be fun to have a play around with that this month. And I've got this lovely bundle of vintage pages from London Gifties. So I'm having a look through these and deciding which ones I want to use for my cover page. Once I've picked the ones I want to use, I'm going to carefully tear out the images and also some of the textbook pages. I really like the rough edges, and to me it kind of gives it a more natural and textured look. So I'm just looking for colours that I think will suit each other nicely and offer a little bit of contrast on my page. So I started with those two. And I then wanted to go for a brighter book page and also use some of these tickets as well. And I play with them for a little while, rearrange them just to get them how I'd like them. And once I'm happy with that, I use some Pritt Stick to glue them down. When I flip through my bullet journal at the end of the video, you'll see that I rarely stick to a theme throughout a month. I just see how I'm feeling on any kind of particular day. And sometimes I do more muted colour schemes and other times I go for lots and lots of colour. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about having a bullet journal, is that I can kind of just go with the flow. The next thing I'm going to do is use this alphabet stamp set, and I'm using some Versa Magic chalk ink. And this ink does take a little while to dry, so it can smudge, but I find that it doesn't seep through the pages onto the other side, so they're inks that I definitely use a lot. I often get asked where I found this stamp set, and I will link something as close to it as I can in the description box down below, but the Etsy seller that I bought it from no longer exists, sadly. So I've stamped out May, and I'm also then stamping out This Too Shall Pass. And that's just kind of a reminder for me for the month ahead. With the cover page now finished, I'm going to move on to setting up my calendar for the month. So I'm going to use that same stamp set to letter out my May heading. And I'm then going to use some of the washi tape that I used on the cover page. And this washi tape is from London Gifties and it's the classic-y grid tape. And I'll then use a Staedtler pigment liner to add in all of the days and dates for the month. And this calendar setting works really well for me. It gives me plenty of space to write out all of my kind of key deadlines and any scheduled calls that I've got coming up. And I always pencil out kind of my layouts first before setting up for the month, just to make sure that I've got all of the space that I'm going to need. For some final decoration on that page, I'm going to use this stamp with some black ink. The next page that I'm going to set up is where I record my key tasks for the month. I write down how I'm doing on my social media channels, and I also leave space for an end of month review. I really like having this right next to my calendar page, as I think it gives me a good feel for how much I've got going on that month and how things all kind of panned out when I fill out that review. For some extra decoration, I'm going to be using some of these lovely stickers that I received from Minnie Small as I support her on Patreon. So I'm going to add just a couple of these to my page. You may also notice that apparently I can't spell the word review. I didn't even notice it at the time, but things like that don't tend to bother me too much, so I won't be going back to change it. I'll just leave it as is, and it will make me smile every time that I see it. The next pages that I'm setting up are for my master task list. I'm using some of this thick brown classic-y tape, again from London Gifties. And I'm going to use a white Uniball Signo gel pen with a broad nib. And I find this pen works really well over dark surfaces and even ones that have quite a lot of texture on them. And this is kind of like my brain dump for the month. And I add to it as new tasks come in that I know I'm not going to be able to get done that day. And I separate it into JWP, which is Journal with Purpose, social, so that's all the things that I want to post on Instagram, YouTube and my blog, HR, which is for my HR work, and then also any tasks that are just for me. The next pages that I'm setting up are for my gratitude log and habit tracker. And I really liked how that white pen looked over the top of the tape, so I'm going to do the same again. With my gratitude log, I try and write at least one line down every evening of things that I'm grateful for. And I think at the moment, more now than ever, it's really helping me to stay focused and happy about all of the good things that are still available to us. For my habit tracker, I'll be writing my numbers underneath that heading and also adding a pressed flower sticker. And I think it'll be nice and calming, kind of having those neutral colours for this month. The one change that I have made with my habit tracker at the moment is that I'm tracking less things. And I think that I just need less pressure on myself at the moment. So I'm just making sure I focus on those things that are really important to me. So just by narrowing them down, rather than having habits that I know are likely to be empty by the end of the month, this will hopefully keep me on that right track. I'm now setting up my final pages for May. And I'm starting off with my Reasons to be Proud page, and like my habit tracker, I try and fill out a line every evening. And I think this can be a really good way of recognising the things that you are getting done. And these can be small things, particularly at the moment, but I think it's really good to recognise where you are doing well. And on the opposite page, I will be including sections for videos that I want to film for my YouTube channel, my blog content, and also any deadlines that I've been set by clients. And with my YouTube tracker, I like to record the date of when I've filmed the video, and then also when I've edited it and once it's got released. I do something very similar with my blog section too, because sometimes it can be a few days from when I get to film something to when I'm able to release it. So it just helps me to know where I'm at with each of those things. So you could use something similar to this for any projects that you've got on the go. For some final decoration, I'm going to use some more of those pressed flower stickers. So that is my setup for May all complete. I'll quickly share those pages with you again. So I started with my cover page for the month, followed by my calendar and key overview page, my master task list, gratitude log and habit tracker, and my reasons to be proud and planning page. And I'll also now share a quick flip through with you of my pages from April so far. I started with my cover page in April and I went for a cupcake theme because it was my birthday. This is my calendar page so far with key tasks, and I'll fill out that review in a couple of days' time. My master task list, gratitude log and habit tracker, my reasons to be proud page, and also my planning page. And this is followed by all of my weekly layouts and daily task lists. And I tend to keep this layout going all the way through the month because it works really well for me and gives me all of the space that I need to get down those tasks for every day. I also include mini habit trackers and goals for each week. I really hope that you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, it would be great if you'd leave it with a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you really soon in the next one.